Brody, that last 8 minutes was so interesting because you guys had a 2-score lead, but multiple fourth down stops, and it seemed like the tension was sort of building. But then when you get the fumble recovery, how big of a release was that both for you and then just everybody on the sideline?
Yeah, we knew going through those last couple series there, we had to get a big stop to keep it out of reach, and getting a couple big ones on the goal line, and then the fumble recovery right there. It was a pretty special way to go out of Bobcat Stadium.
You and 20, 30 other seniors, just can you take us kind of into that moment, sharing it with them as this is your final game at Bobcat Stadium in the locker room, just what is the senior group like right now?
They mean the world to me. We're so close, and I think that's what makes this team pretty special. And I mean, I'd not want to do it with any other group of guys.
You guys gave up a couple big runs for scores early in the game. I guess, how do you feel like you guys just as a group kind of responded after that?
Yeah, they got good players. They had some explosive runs early. We knew we had to get those out because besides that, they weren't having a ton of success. They were getting a couple yards a pop, and that's going to happen, those heavy personnels and stuff like that. But getting those big plays stopped, those explosive plays, that's what helped us in the second half ultimately close out that game.
Your voice is a little hoarse. What can you describe kind of the celebration that you've been going through so far?
Just loving up on my boys. It's a pretty special moment here, coming around full circle. Win in Bobcat Stadium semifinal game. Pretty surreal moment, and been loving up on my guys.
I asked Tommy this, but if you could pinpoint a moment where you knew this team was special this year, can you pinpoint that moment in your mind?
I don't know about a specific moment. I think it's about the culmination of moments over the spring, over the summer, when we decide we're going to take it to another level, that we're not going to be the same team that we have been, that we got to do different things to get to that next step. And so I think just over the course of the year, being able to take it to another level in the weight room with each other, getting to know each other better, and just playing for one another harder, and going through those tough moments, adversity over the summer, winter, that's what gets you ready for games like this, where we give up 2 big runs, but we're not scared of a little adversity, and we can come back and be able to make plays.
I mean, coming in this game, there was a lot of talk about South Dakota's offensive line, how good they were. You guys were able to roll like you always do. You had young guys coming in there making plays like Dom Solano and Hunter Charbonneau. Can you just talk about those guys and also how much playing 10 guys on the defensive line gives you guys an advantage?
Yeah, well, the offensive line doesn't rotate, so
Right.
for us to go hockey style, just throwing guys in there and stay fresh when they're slowing down at the end of the game and stuff like that. Going back to fall camp where we're taking double reps, guys are getting a ton of reps and gaining trust from the coaches, showing that they can make plays. Ultimately, that's what leads to those guys being able to go in big games, and Coach Howe being, all right, go in. I'm giving you the reins to go in, make some plays. We trust you, and that's a big deal for us to be able to take some reps off the starters so we can go out there and have our best plays when we're in the game.
Bobcat Stadium was a serious factor today. To go out that way in the stadium with how loud this fan base was, what was that like on defense?
I mean, you see that they're going false starting, I don't know how many times, 4 times probably, making a huge impact on that other fumble that the quarterback got on the snap. He was trying to check a protection to the O-line, and they thought he was snapping the ball. So just things like that, that's what makes Bobcat Stadium so hard to play in for opposing teams, is the crowd noise having a huge factor, so we can go out there, play fast, and they can't communicate.
I guess just speaking of that, those 4th down stops in the red zone that you guys got a couple of times late in the game, I guess just what do you remember from those plays and just how big those were at that point in the 4th quarter?
I mean, I don't remember the exact plays, but I just remember how big of moments that they are when you're in a red zone like that, and a huge 4th down stop that could have took a lot of momentum away from us, where it's a 2-score game. They score once and they're in the game, where they have an opportunity like UC Davis. It kind of felt like that game where we had the lead, but we couldn't get a stop there, and then they were back in it. But today we were able to get those stops, and that was huge for our team to keep a little comfort there that we could finish out the game with the 2-score lead.
You mentioned the full circle nature of all this, and it feels like every season, 21 to 22 to 23, every season's kind of stacked on top of each other. I guess now that you guys are in this moment, going back to a national title game, I guess just kind of how does that feel, the full circle nature of it?
Yeah, I mean, as a freshman, being able to go in that game and feel like I have an impact and get to be a part of that moment with those guys that I looked up to like crazy. And for it to come around now to my senior year and be one of those guys making plays to finish a game and do it in Bobcat Stadium, that's special. There's nothing like that, and I'm so happy that it was able to go out this way in Bobcat Stadium.
What can you say about Kenny? He's benefited a lot of you getting kind of doubles and chips and stuff like that, just kind of his overall performance. Another big sack today, so what can you say about Kenny?
He's been doing a hell of a job these last couple, through the end of the Big Sky season and the playoffs. A lot of teams in these last couple games have been chipping me, bringing a running back, tight end, sliding the offensive line 3-over-2 or whatever, and that's fine. But guys got to step up and make plays, and he's doing a heck of a job on that other side, and that's got to happen. And if you're getting one-on-ones, go make plays. And we have a lot of faith in our guys, and we've been through a lot of stuff, and D-line, we're tight, and we're happy for each other when we're making plays. Those are big moments in those games to get the crowd going, the momentum, everything like that.
What was your perspective on Tommy's touchdown when he fumbles the snap but then takes it 50 yards for a score?
That's just Tommy. He's a special player. Be able to make a mess up into a touchdown like that. Plus one run is hard enough to defend, and with that guy running the ball, that makes it even more difficult. So happy for him, and he's a heck of a player. So
Monday you talked about drawing a line in the sand, you and the other seniors, for you to get the final fumble like that. Just how fitting is it to think about, the journey that you guys kind of went through from last year until now, and then you kind of end the game basically?
Yeah, to end the game like that, knowing it was over, we knew that it was going to come down to one last stop, and for me to be able to do that was a special moment. I'll never forget that.
When you guys got that 4th down stop, right before the end zone, you kind of looked to the crowd and told them that, could you take me through that moment a little bit, just looking at the crowd there?
I can't even. Was that in the red zone, or was that?
Yeah, he was just short of the 1st down marker.
Yeah, I think that was Miles that made we knew that they had to go a ways, whatever it was, 13, 14 yards or whatever, to get it. So caught the ball, got him out of bounds, a huge play. And Bobcat Stadium got wild. They didn't need my help to get them going. So, yeah.
If you can talk about the differences between this one and 21, similar situation, but what kind of differences? What are the biggest differences between this team and the previous ones that you've been on?
I think there's a lot of similarities with the group, a large group of seniors that have been together through a lot. And I don't know. We have had Coach Vegan for a couple years now, so I'd say that's the biggest difference. We're all bought into the coaches, everything like that. We're not having any quarterback issues, which is nice. Got the best quarterback in the country, so that's definitely helpful. But yeah, I think that's one of the biggest differences. And then Coach Vegan, the trust that we have in him and the gratitude we have for him and just playing for him.
How excited are you for the next game?
Pretty excited. I'm glad it's NDSU. We got something to prove there. So
For the younger guys, I know you guys don't need extra motivation, but how do you kind of keep them focused? Like, it's not just getting there, it's finishing the job.
I think this is a really hungry group, and when you have 23 seniors that younger guys are looking up to, I think it's easier that you don't have to necessarily say as much things. The words mean less when the seniors are going at it like it's any other week. We're trying to get better every single week. Right now, we say we're pros right now because we don't have any school. We get to spend all our time with football, focusing on what we love to do. So for them to see us, what we're doing, and then bring them along with us, I think that's the biggest motivational factor for them.